Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps and you're watching True School Sports.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, Carlos Cuadras, he's fighting on the undercard here in a couple weeks, September 9th. In my opinion, the card of the year, the most exciting card, top to bottom, on paper. He's fighting Juan Francisco Estrada, one of the best fighters in his weight class, a guy who's been a dominant champion at 112, a guy who's trying to find his way at 115, and established himself as one of the dominant fighters in the division. Like Cuadras, Francisco Estrada also gave Roman Gonzalez a tough fight, and he actually had some interesting remarks about Roman Gonzalez and Estrada as well. He stated that Juan Francisco Estrada will be a more difficult challenge than Roman Gonzalez. Now, I'm not going to go ballistic, but I'm going to give you guys my opinion. So here's what he said in regards to that. He said, I quote, "We are preparing very hard for what is coming. Honestly, I think Estrada's style will be more difficult than Roman Gonzalez or Rungvisai. I have already faced these two, and the truth is they are not extraordinary, as neither hits hard. The Thai and I are sure, I are sure I defeated Chocolate, but sooner or later I will run into Roman Gonzalez again, and he will not be saved. Estrada is one of those who stops to collect punches. He is a rival that moves a lot, and he is not easy to land punches on. I have to be in good physical condition to get him, and as soon as I do, I need to finish him because he takes advantage of the mistakes of others, and I have to be very smart to get my belt back." End quote. Now, look, I could classify that as hatred, as him hating on Roman Gonzalez, but what I will say is this. Styles make fights in boxing, man. They do make fights, and Roman Gonzalez, as we know, he's a sound defensive fighter. He comes at you, puts a lot of pressure on his fighters. And if you watch that fight, and I was there that night in LA, he had Cuadras on his bike for the first couple rounds, and Roman Gonzalez's pressure is some of the best pressure you'll see in boxing, and he'll sit there. And he'll pressure you. He'll be right in front of you. And he'll slip a punch. He'll parry a punch. He'll slap it down. And he'll light you up with a 7-punch combination. Like ain't too many guys fighting like Roman Gonzalez does in the pocket. Best in the pocket defense in boxing. But with that being said, Estrada does present different challenges for Cuadras because he moves differently. In my opinion, he's a much better counterpuncher than Roman Gonzalez. He's a much better counterpuncher than probably anybody in the division because that's his game. He's kind of very Juan Manuel Marquez. Think Juan Manuel Marquez. That's kind of his style. Although I do think his front foot game is a little bit better than Juan Manuel Marquez. He's very good. He's a very good counterpuncher. And on top of that, I would say at 115, he's more suited for the weight, and he's also a lot more physically stronger than Roman Gonzalez. So in that regard, I do think he can be more difficult than Roman Gonzalez, but he doesn't put the kind of mental pressure, and he doesn't have the same kind of conditioning that Roman Gonzalez has. And on top of that, Estrada, I know he was having hand problems a couple fights ago, so I'm not sure how his power is gonna affect Cuadras in this fight. I'm actually very interested to see how that happens. And as for Cuadras himself, it's gonna be a tough fight for him because, like I said, he's someone that. Even if you look at his last fight, I think it was against David Carmona. Yeah, it was David Carmona. He fought on the undercard of Roman Gonzalez, Rungvisai. In his last fight against, or I should say Golovkin Jacobs. In his last fight against David Carmona is a tough, rugged, durable fighter in the weight class, and he didn't look his best. He was getting hit a lot, and a lot of people thought that the scores were closer than the judges had it, and I think Cuadras could I think this is a fight. Honestly, look. I think Cuadras is a good fighter. I think it's a fight really where Estrada can put it on him. I think Estrada could maybe I rate Estrada very highly, and I don't expect him to outclass Cuadras, but it's a fight where I could see him outclassing Cuadras just for the simple fact that his counter punching and his ability to move, be mobile, and set those traps to set up the counter punching. I'm not sure if Cuadras is going to be ready for something like that. And I in many ways, I do agree with him. I don't think Estrada is a better fighter than Roman Gonzalez, but I do think that with his style, he does present maybe more difficult challenges for someone who fights like Cuadras. Because in many ways, I think Cuadras and Roman Gonzalez they were like peanut butter and jelly. They were made for each other as far as their styles go. one with the come forward, aggressive, offensive, defensive style that he does have, and then Cuadras with the with his brawling and his flamboyance and his just willingness to sit in there and trade with you, and then at the same time move. He's very very fast, very mobile. I think that the styles mesh well, and I'm not so sure that his style will be all right for Estrada. I think Estrada's could be all wrong for Cuadras. I'm actually picking Estrada to win that fight. But it will be a good one. It's one of the fights in boxing. It's probably one of the top 10 matches I've wanted to see in boxing over the last year. So I'm glad it's happening. But you guys let me know what you think. Do you think that Juan Francisco Estrada and the style and the skills that he brings to the table, does that make him a tougher matchup for Cuadras than former pound-for-pound king Roman Gonzalez? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let's talk some boxing. Like this video. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. And, take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.